Okay, so now as my Star of David is burning, which I had shown in the previous video, this I'm going to work on something called as the commanding ritual. Many wives come to me and say that the husbands don't listen or the husbands don't understand their viewpoint, and some people just come and tell me that what do we do? We have so much of issues. I have started working off late with skulls because I feel skulls has an amazing energy because you all know in 2012 I had started my candles, and till date I have been only growing and growing and growing in candle researches, and my knowledge in candles have, I don't know, by the grace of God, has just touched its peak now. So now this is a skull candle. I will also bring in with more skulls because I do the black skull, I do the orange, I do the yellow. Yellow basically works amazingly for weight loss, which I will be bringing as a ritual very soon, and orange works on career, and black again works for various things, but let's just consider one thing today. So this is basically to do commanding work. Like if I want my husband to understand me, now let me tell you one thing. There's a law that if you do good, it works, it comes back good. If you do bad, then it comes back bad. So I would suggest, only unless and until you really feel your husband is not listening to you for good reasons, like don't keep it as because my mother-in-law is bad, my husband should listen to me. No, if you feel that genuinely he doesn't understand you and he overpowers you, or he doesn't give you the basic things what you're supposed to get, then yes, this is for you. So I work on the commanding oil. So this is my commanding oil which I will be adding to the ritual, and also I use clubs. Now I either use 7 clubs or 9 clubs. I will tell you how to do. Basically this again is the head of the person or the brain of the person on whom I'm working. So what I do is, I don't burn this immediately. For 2-3 days I talk to this skull that it has to, for example, if you're doing it for your husband, and then you talk to it, you tell it that why don't you try to listen to me also. Why don't you, instead of saying listen to me, why don't you understand my viewpoint? If you feel I'm wrong, then fine, but maybe I am right at times, so why don't you just give me the chance to explain to you what I am going through. Why don't we sit together and talk and sort things out? Ultimately we have to live together lifelong, and we have to have love and bonding and unity in terms, if we want our life to be good and happy. Like that, you will talk to it, you will look at it, and you will talk to it. If you can tell your husband's name to this and say for example X, like X, why don't you listen to me? Why don't you understand my viewpoint? Let's sit and talk it out. Let's take this journey of love and bonding together. I will listen to you, you listen to me, like that. Whatever you feel like talking, you have to talk. And then what you do is you pour the commanding oil on top. Yes, now a small tip: those who are using commanding oil can also bite on licorice root, not licorice, sorry, the licorice root while doing this spell. Licorice is the muleti or the meaty khati, what we say, and work on it. You just apply the oil everywhere and say, why don't you, because commanding oil basically works on having a command over a situation, and here we need to have command over our partners or our husbands. So that is how it works. Not our husbands, sorry, our husbands. So that's how it works. So I just apply the oil saying, why don't you listen to me? Why don't you understand my viewpoint? Now after that, what I will do is, sometimes I prefer surrounding this with licorice, calamus, and some more roots. And if you want, you can do that also. Or else, now what I will do is, I will just take a sharp object, and then I will poke it. I will poke 5 pokes here to insert the clouds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to do 2 more. 6, 7. So these are the 7 pokings I have done. And what I will do is, I will insert in each the cloud. You can also use rose petals if you're working with your partner, to send him love energies, to send him pink energies. That also works wonders. So 2, 3. Sometimes there are men who don't give money to the wives. Sometimes there are men who don't go for work, and they love sitting at home. Sometimes there are men who feel that what they say is right, because they have been brought up in such an atmosphere where it is said that what a man talks is right. So in those cases, this actually works. Sometimes you have loved a guy for 10 years or 12 years together, and then he just leaves you and goes. So see how the situation is. Now after the cloves are stuck, okay, I have put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so one more has to be put here. So the 7 clouds are stuck now. Okay, now when I'm sticking the clouds also, I will say as I pierce this cloud, I want him to understand me. We need to talk to each other and sort things out. And what I do is, as I said, I can even surround it with the calamus root, licorice root, if I want. Else I will just take a drop of this oil and I will add on every cloud, saying, he listens to me, he understands me, he works with me in unity, we grow together as in love, our bonding grows and we become strong and united and we love each other unconditionally. So that's it. This is done. Now after this is over, what you do is you just intent it and then you burn the candle. And this can be done on every Friday. This should be done, sorry, because my hand is oily, it is slipping and I'm feeling hot. So that's the reason. So just a second. So yes, as I said, this can be done on every Friday with the intent that your partner starts understanding you. You can also use the licorice root every day. You can chew the licorice root and talk to him. Or when you chew the licorice root, you can just say that you are in control of the situation, you are in control of the affairs happening in your house the whole day. You can also use this commanding oil, 1 drop of the oil in your palms, and just rub your palms and say that whatever I am intending happens and I am in control of the situation in my home. Usually actually commanding oil keeps you in control of not only your husband. If you use the oil on, does not only help you in controlling of situations at home, but also with kids. If kids don't listen, also you can use the licorice root and the commanding oil. If you feel your employees or your teammates are always bullying you, then you can use this oil. So it's a multi-purpose oil. Good luck.